2020 will go down as one of the most memorable years in the history of mankind. It was a really difficult year and challenging for many, but especially the swimming community. Like all of our community members around the world, we had to adapt quickly, working to serve the needs of all of our swimmers around the globe. From hosting live dryland workouts to launching entirely new training programs in the MySwimPro app, we remain focused on helping swimmers improve their performance and health both in and out of the water. Looking forward to 2021, we're excited about the opportunity to keep helping swimmers, whether that means doing dryland workouts in their living rooms or working out at the pool. Let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the 2020 State of the Company. Actually, this is more like 2021, but we're doing it at the end of the year. So make sure, get out a pen and paper maybe. If you have any notes or anything you want to ask a question, I'm just going to go straight through. Maybe it'd be 20 minutes, and then if anyone has any questions, just leave them for the end, and then we can go back and dive into anything specifically. The goal for this is to talk about, 2020, how the year went, some highlights, some things that went well, some things that didn't go as well, how we're positioning ourselves in this current state of swimming in the world, given where everything is at, and then how we're going to be looking at 2021 and beyond. So the outline here, we're going to talk about the golden circle, which I love, and I did in the last two State of the Company, so that shouldn't be anything new, but I think it's important to recap, and this is the outline. So let's get into it. Golden circle. I love this because it reinforces why we do what we do. So just as a recap, so what do we do when someone asks like, oh, MySwimPro, what's that all about? So we create mobile and wearable apps that help swimmers improve their performance and health. That's what we do. And how do we do it? So we guide members through a personalized program that includes structured workouts, analytic feedback, video instruction, and of course, a community of support to help people improve their performance and health. And then most importantly is the why, and because we believe that through the intersection of technology and swimming that we can empower our community members to lead happier and healthier lives. That sounds awesome, right? That's what we're all about. And then finally, we have a responsibility to help our members do this. So we are at the perfect intersection, and it is our obligation to make sure that we can help people improve their performance and health. And so as the world changes and what the app looks like, how it functions, what our marketing content looks like, the what and how we do can change over time, and it has changed. If you look at what the app is today compared to 12 months ago, compared to 4 years ago, that has changed, and that will continue to change. But the why is consistent, and that sort of leads everything now and moving forward because we have an awesome community. And I actually just realized that Paige is in this twice. So the community is more than just Paige. It's more than myself in the corner. It's diverse, it's young, it's old, every color under the rainbow, all over the world, multiple languages. And that's what's really, really exciting. So if we look at 2020, I decided to break it up by quarter because there was a lot that happened in the year, and I think, just thinking about it thematically, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, that can help put things into perspective. So if we rewind all the way back about, 11, 12 months ago, Q1, what did that look like? We started the quarter and we finished the quarter very differently, not only in terms of team composition, product, brand, how we're positioned, finances, everything was a lot different in a course of 3 months. To start with the team, though, we had 3 new team members join. So we had Taylor, Carol, and Dan join the party, which was awesome. And they all joined at a really interesting time, basically as the world was like shutting down. And so there's a lot of uncertainty in the air. So huge props to those 3 for basically taking on something new, a new company, new team, working on something that they maybe were working on or not working on in any capacity, doing it at such an uncertain time. So I can only imagine how crazy that must have been. And they've done fantastic. So that's on the team side. Now on the product side, obviously in the beginning of the year, we had a certain game plan and we sort of threw that out the window come March. And so if you guys remember, I think I put together like a letter about how and I was out of town in February. So I come back and like, oh God, the world is shutting down. Like, what are we going to do? So initially it was, we're going to keep an eye on this, and only if things continue, then we're going to actually take action. And sure enough, a week later, we decided to take action because things were unfolding. So from a product perspective, we did the pivot phase 1. And if you notice here on these screenshots, this is what it first looked like. But look at this screenshot from Teresa, right? March 27th, she posted in our community group, and she posted like this screenshot of, the app. And as you can see, at the end of March, we had already shipped everything. Like, so pretty incredible to think, wait a second, in the beginning of March, we had never thought about like, oh, we're not going to do anything. And then at the end of the month, like 2-3 weeks later, here we are with like a full workout library, like training plan, and she's doing push-ups with the MySwimPro shirt. So it just goes to show like how quick we were able to move on that when it mattered most, because the community needed us and we were able to step up. So that was all in Q1. So crazy Q1. Then we move into Q2, and so it was like pivot phase 2. So now it was not just, okay, we've got dryland in the app, but we need to actually make it work more functional. If you look at the screen layout, so we continue to evolve the product. We launched a new pricing model. So if you remember, and this feels like forever ago, we had different subscription packs. So we had MySwimPro Elite, and then we had analytics, and we had all these different packs, and so we merged those together, rolled out a new offering, basically new pricing. It's reflected on the web as well. We hosted the World Swim Gala, so that was fun. And then even Apple paid attention. Look at that, we're in the same sentence as TikTok on the homepage of the App Store. So that was really cool. And then as Dan came on, we started doing some business development. So we started generating new revenue. And that's what this screenshot is here, showing some of the giveaways and some of the sponsored content that we started doing and incorporating into our messaging. And we also did the state of the company. We sent out a number of different surveys to basically gauge where the community is at and how we can continue to help them. So I believe we sent a survey in April, May, July, and then most recently in November, and really just trying to get a feel of where the swimming world is at, what access to pools is like, people's comfort level going swimming. And we'll follow up on this in a little bit when we talk about where we are today and where we'll be in 2021 and beyond. And then we move to Q3. So from a business perspective, I think that the biggest thing that happened was we had the team adventure. So that was really fun. This photo is just ridiculous, which is awesome. And then so we continued to improve the product and refine what we had started. And we started learning a lot about the community and what the state of swimming actually looks like, whether it was open water swimming, dryland dryland workouts started to drop off. So we started learning some things there, and we started making some changes. We also launched this ambassador website, which is really cool. And I mentioned we started learning some things. So this collection of screenshots here on the bottom from the community group is reflective of that. So we find ourselves in a similar position right now where some people were going open water swimming. Some people didn't have access to a pool, so they were only doing dryland. Some people could swim in a pool, but you have to make a pool reservation. And some people, like this one, built a pool in his backyard and got a tether and just kind of cranking it out. So a lot of diversity, and we find ourselves in a similar position now. And we're going to come back and touch on that. And then as we move into the final quarter of the year, where we are pretty much now. So we had Steve join the party, which is key, and we launched gift cards, which is awesome. I'm very excited about this now and moving in the future. So now we offer gift cards, which is something people have asked us about a lot. And so Steve sent out this survey, and we started to get more into what does personal coach actually look like? What would coach do? What is the virtual personal swim coach? We also made some product decisions and executed on them in terms of what the offering looks like. So, dropping Fitbit, Wear OS, My TriPro, and really focusing the portfolio, focusing the company basically in what we're actually going to be working on. At the beginning of the quarter in October, we had World Swim Day. So that was fun. And we continued to do more business development. Hashtag ho 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 holiday gift guide. And then I have here, so Apple made an announcement that normally I wouldn't have bothered including this, but it actually affects us from the bottom line. And that's going to we happen to be featured in it, which was pretty cool. But that's going to affect us next, 2021 and even into the beginning of 2022, most likely. So, we're going to be getting more revenue by not actually doing anything different. So that's good. It doesn't mean we can say, oh, look at that, we're going to get another $100,000 that we weren't planning on getting. But we still need to continue to improve the product and make strides in every dimension. So that's looking at Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And so if we look at the impact that we were able to do, so these are just some quotes from gold medal moments. I actually pulled all of these, I think, from gold medal moments. So, first one here is so thankful for discovering MySwimPro during the pandemic. And so this first quote here is something that you probably wouldn't expect. It's like, oh, the pandemic, no one's gonna start swimming. So here we are. Someone is like thankful that they discovered swimming in MySwimPro in a time when not as many people are doing that. So that's really cool. The second one, people are saying that this is the best app on their phone. That's really cool. Like if you think about how many apps you have, like I have on my phone, many pages of apps. And so to be the best app is awesome because, even if you're not the best app or like the most used or whatever, just to be on the homepage of someone's phone is a really big deal. So the fact that people are telling us like, yeah, this is like the most useful thing I have on my phone, that's a really big deal. We also launched webinars. Actually, I didn't mention that in Q3, but shout out to Charlie. We started doing webinars in Q3, and here's someone who thought the webinar was amazing, and they immediately signed up for Elite and started a training plan. So that's awesome. That's like the full funnel coming together. They learn about us, they sign up for a webinar, we sell them on why they need to be a part of this, and then they sign up immediately. So that's awesome. The next quote, I just downloaded the app and impressed with how detailed it is. So obviously finding value in what they're actually getting in the offering. And then finally, the last bullet point here is not just the detailed information, but during COVID, we aren't allowed in the water, but your videos are certainly, helping with instructions. So being able to put out content, not just in the app, but in all of our different channels and helping people, whether they have access to a pool or not, is super, super impactful. So shout out to the team, because if we didn't do what we do, none of this would have happened. And it's important to tie in the, like, what did we do with why we did it? And this is why we did it. So that was awesome. Now, if we move to the current state of swimming, like where are we at right now? And, how does this look different than 12 months ago? How's it going to look in 12 months? So this is some information from the survey that we just sent out just a few weeks ago in November. And if you recall, we sent out to a few different cohorts. So I think it was like 4, maybe 5 different groups of people. So the two biggest ones, one is the market in general. So people who have not used the MySwimPro app. And this is statistically significant, 700 plus responses. Like, what is your access to a swimming pool right now? And as you can see, pool only is about 41%. When do you think you're going to have access? Right there. And then if we look at subscribers, which is a smaller subset of, the swimming market, a few hundred responses still here. It's actually a higher percent of people who have access, so 52%. Now that's pool only. Of course, there's open water, but that still leaves the blue. No, I don't have access, so that's not good. So there's still about a quarter of our paying members don't have access to anything right now. So that's a testament to a couple things. One, the fact that they're still subscribed. Number 2 is the fact that if you look at, why are the subscribers, why is it higher? Because what I believe, and this is just my POV, because they are more invested in swimming, they have a routine, maybe they're paying for something, they're more likely to go out of their way and find a pool. So, oh, my pool closed, but there's another pool, 5 kilometers down the road or a few miles away that I can go to. So they're going to figure it out. But at the same time, we have this diversity where we have people with pools, people without pools, people with open water, people who don't, people who are going to leave swimming, people who are going to come back. So if we try and, what does this actually mean in terms of future swimming? Like, what does it look like? So I think we've talked about this before, is that holistic approach. So obviously we're doing that with dryland. It's not just swimming, there's nutrition, there's recovery. But what I feel differently today than when I shared this same slide 6 months ago is that swim is actually more important than all of these. So I was trying to give equal weights, like, swimming and dryland and the whole total package. What would coach do? Well, the swim coach would tell you to swim. So that's still the core thing. So that's why I highlighted it and I bolded it, because at the end of the day, like, we're MySwimPro, we're not My Dryland Pro. So as important as the dryland is in having a holistic coaching approach, at the end of the day, like, swimming is still the most important. And that's what our members tell us, and that's what I think we've really learned in the last 6 months. Also, we've learned that, this limited pool access is probably not going anywhere. So, booking 30 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever your pool is, that really never existed from what I've seen. That was a very minority of use cases in the past. And now we find, maybe half of all pool access is through booking a spot online through MindBody or something like that. So that's something new to keep in mind. We also saw in the summer that open water interest grew significantly. But again, this is my POV. I still believe that a lot of that was just this, anxiety around, I need to go work out. My pool's closed, so I'm going to go open water swim. I do not foresee open water to be the thing, even if pools are closed in the future. So I think pools and swimming, as I highlighted, will always be the core of our market. And sure, open water swimming is great, but pools are still going to be preferred. I also think things like destination swimming events are going to really surge in 2022 and beyond. So I think a lot of people, because they couldn't do these, things like the Bosphorus swim or some things that like Swim Trek does, their business is completely devastated this year and even next year because you book a lot of these things in advance. And I think this is important because a lot of people swim to do these types of events, and I think this is going to grow. So people need a goal if it's an event related, especially, and that could be an open water swim, could be a triathlon. I think these are really going to surge, but it's probably going to take a little bit of time because you sign up for these in advance. You don't just book a trip to Europe for next week. You normally plan these things a few months out. So I think 2022 is when we'll start to see that. And then I think the personalized fitness movement is really moving in our favor in the sense that, if you compare going to a master's workout as compared to going to swim on your own where you have to book a spot, that's become more of a norm. So that's going to hurt organizations like a US Masters Swimming where they're so dependent on like the group setting with a coach. And we are the coach. MySwimPro is the coach. And I think that actually benefits us significantly. So we should, coming out of the pandemic, we should use that as momentum to push us forward because public sentiment is actually going to be in our favor. People are going to be more open to like, yeah, my friend bought a Peloton. It's like, he's not going to go to a spin class at whatever. He bought it in his house. I use MySwimPro. It's my coach. I'm not going to bother with the master's workout. They swim at 6 a.m. I like swimming at 4 p.m. So I think all of these things actually benefit us. So let's get talking about 2021. Keep things exciting. So, okay, from three perspectives. We're going to talk about the company, the product, and the brand. So from a company perspective, we're going to continue building out the team. That means engineering, a UI UX designer, and marketing support. On the next slide, I go into this a little bit more detail. And then also to support what the next year and more is going to look like, we're going to raise some capital around the Olympic Games. And there's a lot of strategic opportunities in timing about doing it at that point and raising the way that we will. But I won't get too much into the weeds of that for this conversation, but that's something to keep in the back of your mind, that we're going to have an injection of capital, and that's what's going to support us to continue building out the team. On the product side, we're going to continue focusing on what would coach do. And I just listed a few KPIs from one of the slides that Steve presented a couple of weeks ago. Not all of these will apply. Maybe we might add some more, remove some. So just, some of the things that we're going to be thinking about on the product side. And then on the brand side, I just wrote a document in Tetra about MySwimPro social strategy, content strategy. And basically, we're positioning MySwimPro as the #1 fitness brand for swimmers in the world. And so if we break that up in, what does that work in marketing speak? So we have the product marketing and the brand marketing. The product marketing is everything related to getting someone to, download the app. What does that welcome email look like? Telling them about new features and things like that. And then you have the brand marketing, which could be top of the funnel, growing the audience so that people know that MySwimPro exists. And then also facilitating other revenue channels, which could be the partnerships or merchandise or affiliates or anything like that. And so the content strategy that supports all of this is that we are the ultimate thought leader in the space. If MySwimPro is the #1 fitness brand in the world for swimmers, we need to educate, entertain, and inspire people at that level. People look to us if they want to get better at swimming. When they think MySwimPro, it's not only what would coach do, it's, these guys know what's going, not guys and girls. This team knows what they're talking about in the industry, and I can look to them to get better, to learn about the sport, and to be the best version of myself as it relates to swimming. So that's what we're positioning MySwimPro as from a brand and company perspective. And then my next slide we're looking at, and it's not just numbers. This is a business, but we also want to make sure that we're supporting the community, because that's what this is all about. We have an awesome community. We have an awesome team, and each of us, it's like playing an instrument in like a symphony. We all have a role to play. We all contribute to the bigger picture. And I'll make this analogy even more. So, we've got a symphony. It's beautiful. And each person, to add some clarity, there's Max. Max is playing, he's a violin player. He's amazing. Look at him, he's a beast. And so, he can perform on his own like fantastic, but if you remove all the other players from this symphony, it's not as good because it's only one man show. But let's say you add Ben, and now all of a sudden he's on the drums, so now it becomes a lot more a lot higher quality in terms of the overall production. And then you add Carol, and now there's like a cool video and it looks really sweet. And then you add Jenk, and all of a sudden things are like starting to work together. And then you add Taylor, and there's so much more like flavor to this symphony. And then Charlie's playing the French horn because he's a boss. And then you've got Dan, who's just shows up and he's in the corner and playing music. It's amazing. And then Adam, he's a violinist too. Who would have thought he can play the violin like Max? It's amazing. And so as we add these players to the mix, it becomes a whole symphony orchestra. And there's Steve, he showed up as well. And then you've got, who else? Did I get everyone? Oh, there I am. So we've got like the whole symphony, we're working together. Now, if you notice, there's a lot of chairs, but there's only a certain number of heads. So we're definitely missing some pieces. So as we move into 2021 and beyond, we want to continue, filling some of these gaps, but also working together, because at the end of the day, you control what you can control. So you're reading the notes on the page, you're playing the symphony. Max is this fantastic violin player, but he's only so good alone. And so for 2021, I want us to focus on, working well together, so that way we can create an entire symphony. And when you create a symphony, the end result is beautiful. It sounds amazing, it looks amazing, and that's what people go and they pay money for. And they keep coming back. If it's a good show and things work together and everyone plays well together, they come back. And so that's what I wanted to share in today's State of the Company. Oh wait, but there's one more thing. I love doing this. So there's one more thing.
We're so excited about what 2021 has to offer. I know, like I mentioned, this has been a really difficult year, and we will continue to grow and adapt to serve our community. So thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it. I really enjoyed the opportunity to lead the company and grow our team through such a difficult year. And that won't stop in 2021. I'm most excited to continue building the business, growing the team, and serving our global community members. So thank you again one more time. I really appreciate it. The entire team is so thankful for all of your support. Please let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to in 2021 and beyond. With that being said, wishing you guys the best. Happy swimming, happy holidays, and have a great new year. We'll see you next year.